Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is to cut through all the noise, all the bureaucracy, and compare the November 2025 and the December 2025 U.S. visa bulletins.
Right.
It's not just about reading dates off a chart. We're trying to understand the strategy behind it all and, pull out what it actually means for you. Okay, let's unpack this. Before we really get into the weeds, let's just do a quick reminder on the two main charts. We have the final action dates, or FAD.
Right.
And the dates for filing applications, the DFF. And they are not the same thing. FAD is, usually for the final visa interview at a consulate.
And the DFF is what USCIS might let you use if you're already in the U.S. trying to file for adjustment of status. That's the key difference. One is for filing, the other is for final approval.
Exactly.
And what's fascinating here is even with all the movement we're about to talk about, the book picture rules haven't changed a bit. We're in fiscal year 2026, so that means we still have 226,000 family-sponsored visas and at least 140,000 for employment-based. And the big four oversubscribed areas are still the same. China, mainland-born, India, Mexico, and the Philippines.
Right, those are always the ones to watch. So let's start with the family-sponsored side, specifically the final action dates. Most of the general categories were, totally static.
Held completely steady.
But the movement we did see for Mexico and the Philippines was really specific and definitely worth talking about.
Oh, absolutely. It was a very targeted push. Take Mexico's F1 category. That's unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. That saw a huge jump. It gained over 3 months, moving from November 22nd, 2005, all the way to March 1st, 2006 in December.
And their F2B category was even bigger, right? Unmarried sons and daughters of permanent residents. That moved 5 whole months, from December 15th, 2007 to May 15th, 2008.
A solid 5 months.
So when you see a jump like that, 5 months in a category that's usually so backlogged, what did that signal? Is that just them processing faster, or is it something else?
It's usually one of two things. It could be that the Department of State is maybe predicting more refusals in that category down the line, so they're releasing numbers now.
I see.
Or, and this is maybe more likely, they just had a huge batch of cases that were fully prepped and just waiting for a visa number to become available. Either way, it's fantastic news for people in that queue.
Yeah, for sure.
And we saw a similar kind of thing for the Philippines. Their F4 category brothers and sisters of adult U.S. citizens jumped 4 months.
Okay.
From March 22nd, 2006 to July 15th, 2006. And their F3, the married sons and daughters, that moved forward about a month and a half.
So basically, stability for India and the rest of the world, but some real targeted good news for Mexico and the Philippines.
Exactly.
Now, if we switch over to the dates for filing, so the other chart in the family categories, there was really only one change across the board.
That's right, and it was a small one, but it was for everyone. The F2A category spouses and children of permanent residents, that filing date moved forward exactly 1 month.
For all countries.
For all countries, yeah. From October 22nd, 2025 to November 22nd, 2025. It's not a huge jump, but seeing it happen universally like that, it suggests they're feeling confident about capacity early in the fiscal year.
Everything else just stayed the same.
Everything else totally static.
Okay, let's get to the employment side. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because unlike the family chart, we saw, widespread, significant movement in the final action dates here.
Yeah, December was a big month. It really suggests that, their demand projections gave them a lot of room to open the floodgates a bit.
Okay, so let's break it down. EB2, professionals with advanced degrees.
Right. For all chargeability areas, so most of the world, it moved forward a solid 2 months. Went from December 1st, 2023 to February 1st, 2024.
And China saw the same thing. 2 months.
Yep, 2 months for China up to June 1st, 2021. And even India, which, usually just inches forward, gained a month and a half from April 1st, 2013 to May 15th, 2013.
And EB3, the skilled workers category, also saw a consistent movement.
It did. The all chargeability date moved forward about 2 weeks to April 15th, 2023. But for China and India, they both got a full month.
Okay.
China moved to April 1st, 2021. And India moved to September 22nd, 2013.
So that's a great sign. But when you see that kind of forward movement, say 2 months globally for EB2, right at the start of the year, is that sustainable? Or is this just them trying to get ahead of the game before things slow down later?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Historically, they do tend to be more aggressive at the start of the fiscal year.
Right.
But 2 months is, it's more than usual. It suggests they are really trying to clear out inventory now, which is great, but yeah, I wouldn't expect this exact pace to hold for 12 straight months.
Got it.
And if you want to talk about aggressive movement, we have to look at EB5 unreserved, the employment creation category.
Oh, this was wild.
This is where the numbers just went crazy. China's EB5 unreserved date jumped about 7 months.
7. From December 8th, 2015, all the way to July 15th, 2016. That is a staggering leap.
It is. And India also saw a massive jump of 5 full months. From February 1st, 2021 to July 1st, 2021. This is large-scale inventory clearance, plain and simple.
Even EB1, which is usually so slow, saw some progress.
A little bit. Both China, India, and EB1 moved forward 1 month. And we saw EB4, the special immigrants category, also move forward 2 months for all countries.
So just green arrows pretty much everywhere on the employment side this month.
A very, very positive bulletin numbers-wise. But I think the biggest story, the most critical strategic thing to happen in December has to be the legislative change.
The certain religious workers, the SR category.
Exactly.
In November, we talked about how that category was just gone, listed as unavailable.
Yeah.
Because Congress let the extension expire.
Correct. The path just vanished overnight on September 30th. But the December bulletin shows what happens when legislation steps in.
A new bill was signed.
Yeah, H.R. 5371 was signed into law on November 12th. It immediately brought the SR category back to life. But there's a huge catch. It's a very short extension, only until January 30th, 2026.
So the window opened back up, but it's not open for long.
Not at all. And the final action date they set reflects that. It's now September 1st, 2020 for all countries.
Okay, but what's the implication for the applicants?
Here's the critical part. The bulletin specifically warns that people in this category have to be fully admitted to the U.S. or have their adjustment of status finalized by midnight, January 29th, 2026.
Wow.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, this kind of legislative change creates this tiny window of opportunity, but with just immense time pressure.
So if your date is now current, you have what, like 60 days to get a final interview or adjudication? A process that normally takes months and months.
Precisely. It's an administrative fire drill, just a monumental amount of pressure on everyone involved. And that change also updated the filing date chart. SR went from U to February 15th, 2021.
A temporary lifeline, I guess. Okay, let's quickly wrap up with the rest of the filing dates and the diversity visa. On the employment filing date chart, most things stayed put. The big change was obviously that new date for religious workers and a tiny little nudge for EB5 China.
Yeah, a 3-week move for ED5 China's filing date, which just shows you how much the final action date has outpaced the filing date there. They're not quite in sync.
Right. And then finally, the diversity immigrant category, DV 2026.
Yep. For December, the cutoffs were exactly what November predicted they'd be. No surprises. Africa at 17,500, Asia at 10,000, Europe at 7,750.
But the December bulletin looks ahead to January, and the projections there, they're showing some pretty big jumps.
So they are. They're clearly planning to use a lot of numbers right after New Year's. Africa is projected to double, jumping to 35,000.
Wow.
With Algeria specifically at 20,000. And Asia is projected to jump to 15,000, Europe up to 8,500. So they're definitely front-loading those DV numbers. Good news for people with high case numbers.
So what does this all mean? When you put it all together, the December 2025 bulletin, it feels like a really strong statement. A lot of forward movement, especially on the employment side and for, those specific family categories in Mexico.
I think the main takeaway is that the Department of State clearly felt they had room to clear out a lot of older cases early this fiscal year. But the biggest lesson, really, is how much power legislation has.
The religious worker situation.
Absolutely. The H.R. 53371 bill is the perfect example. It shows how policy from outside the agency can just instantly open a door that was slammed shut, even if it's only for a few weeks.
A door with a ticking clock on it.
Exactly.
And as a final thought for you to explore on your own, the bulletin keeps mentioning the National Defense Authorization Act from back in 2023.
The NDAA, right.
Yeah, and how it affects U.S. government employees' special immigrant visas, the SIVs. Doesn't give details, it just says to contact the consulate. But the fact that it's mentioned in both November and December suggests there's this really complex, ongoing legal framework connecting defense policy and these specific visas that is definitely worth keeping an eye on. We will catch you next time for the next deep dive into the numbers.